They had everything: fame, fortune, and fans screaming their names. Hollywood built them up, crowned them icons, and then, in true Tinseltown fashion, tore them down just as fast. Behind the lights, behind the luxury, some of the world's biggest stars were silently breaking. One bad decision, one wrong turn, or one twist of fate, and the million-dollar lifestyle vanished overnight. From TV legends sleeping in cars to movie stars facing bankruptcy, these are the shocking real-life stories of celebrities who had it all and lost it all. Stay till the end, because the final story might just change the way you see fame forever. Loni Willison, the Baywatch beauty who vanished. Loni Willison was once a picture of Hollywood glamour, the kind of beauty that seemed untouchable. She modeled for magazines like Glam Fit and Iron Man, worked as a celebrity fitness trainer, and married Baywatch star Jeremy Jackson in 2012. Together, they were a Malibu power couple, often seen at premieres and charity events. But when their marriage ended in 2014, everything unraveled faster than anyone imagined. She lost her job at a plastic surgery clinic, her mental health began deteriorating, and she found herself without steady income or support. Within 2 years, Loni went from living in a luxury apartment to surviving on the streets of Santa Monica. Friends and former colleagues organized interventions, even offering her rehab and housing, but she declined help, saying she preferred to live independently. The same paparazzi who once captured her red carpet looks now photograph her wandering the streets, often disoriented, and pushing a shopping cart filled with personal belongings. Each new sighting breaks hearts. Across the internet, a painful reminder of how fame can vanish without warning. In a city obsessed with image, Loni Willison became the tragic reflection of what happens when the camera flashes stop, but the world keeps watching. Her story remains one of Hollywood's darkest cautionary tales. How quickly the dream can turn into a nightmare. Wesley Snipes, the vampire slayer who couldn't slay his taxes. In the 1990s, Wesley Snipes was unstoppable. With hits like Blade, Demolition Man, and New Jack City, he became one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Cool, confident, and commanding. But while his on-screen characters fought villains, off-screen, he faced a very different enemy, the IRS. Between 1999 and 2004, Snipes earned more than $40 million, yet failed to file his federal taxes, claiming exemption through a misguided legal theory. In 2008, he was convicted of tax-related offenses and sentenced to 3 years in federal prison, along with a staggering $23.5 million bill. It was one of Hollywood's most shocking downfalls. After his release in 2013, Snipes kept his distance from controversy and quietly rebuilt his image. Roles in The Expendables, 3, Dolomite Is My Name, and Coming to America reminded audiences why he was once an action legend. He often says that prison taught him patience, clarity, and resilience, lessons that fame never could. Wesley Snipes may have fallen hard, but his determination to rebuild proved that even the sharpest blade can be reforged. Cory Haim, the lost boy who lost his way. In the late 1980s, Cory Haim was Hollywood's golden child, the face every magazine wanted and the name every teenager knew. With hits like The Lost Boys, License to Drive, and Lucas, he became one of the biggest teen idols of his time. He was charming, funny, and wildly talented. But behind the laughter and flashing cameras, Cory was being pulled into Hollywood's darker corners. As fame exploded, so did the pressure. Surrounded by older influences and endless temptation, Cory was introduced to substances far too young. The fame that once made him feel invincible soon became a trap. By the early 2000s, the bright lights were gone, replaced by financial struggles and desperate attempts to stay relevant. In one heartbreaking interview, Cory admitted he was living in a garage with his mother, selling personal belongings just to afford food. He even tried to sell pieces of his hair online to pay bills. Despite his efforts to make a comeback, the industry that once made him a star had moved on. When Cory passed away in 2010 at only 38, it wasn't just the loss of a former teen idol. It was a harsh reminder of how Hollywood often forgets the very people it once celebrated. His story remains one of the saddest examples of talent lost too soon, crushed by the weight of fame that never gave him a chance to grow up. Margot Kidder, Superman's girl who fell to earth. Margot Kidder was fearless, magnetic, and unforgettable. The kind of actress who didn't just play Lois Lane, she became her. In the late 70s and early 80s, she was everywhere, starring in Superman, The Amityville Horror, and countless talk shows where she lit up every room she entered. She was Hollywood's symbol of wit and independence, proof that leading women could be both strong and sophisticated. But life after stardom wasn't kind. A devastating car accident in 1990 left her temporarily paralyzed and buried under medical bills. Her work slowed, her fortune evaporated, and depression set in. In 1996, she disappeared for several days before being found living in makeshift shelters, disoriented and vulnerable. The shocking images of Superman's leading lady homeless on the streets stunned fans worldwide. Yet Margot wasn't the type to surrender. In the years that followed, she rebuilt her life in Montana, becoming an activist for environmental and mental health causes. She spoke openly about her struggles, inspiring countless others who battled similar demons. When she passed away in 2018, the world mourned more than a star, it mourned a fighter. Margot Kidder's story isn't just about falling, it's about surviving long enough to teach others how to rise again. Leif Garrett, Erin Moran, and Gary Coleman. When fame forgets your name. Leif Garrett, Erin Moran, and Gary Coleman, three once beloved stars whose stories reveal how quickly Hollywood moves. Leif Garrett was a 1970s teen idol, selling millions of records and gracing every magazine cover. But success came too soon. A car accident that left his best friend paralyzed marked the beginning of his downfall. Addiction and arrests followed, and fame slipped through his fingers faster than it arrived. Erin Moran, America's sweetheart from Happy Days, faced the same brutal fate. After her show ended, she struggled to find work and fell into financial hardship. By the 2000s, she was living in a trailer park, her health failing. When she passed away in 2017, it was a heartbreaking end for a woman who once symbolized joy. And Gary Coleman, the face of Different Strokes, made millions as a child, but lost it all to mismanagement and betrayal. Lawsuits, poor health, and depression followed him into adulthood. When he died in 2010 at just 42, fans remembered not just his catchphrases, but the pain behind the laughter. 3 stars from 3 generations, all forgotten by the same system that made them. The comebacks. When rock bottom wasn't the end. Not every downfall ends in tragedy. Natasha Lyonne, Danny Bonaduce, and Willie Ames each proved that second chances can rewrite any story. Natasha Lyonne's early fame with American Pie was followed by addiction and illness that nearly ended her career, but she fought back, rising again with Orange is the New Black and Poker Face, turning her chaos into creativity. Danny Bonaduce, the funny kid from the Partridge Family, hit rock bottom after addiction, and legal troubles left him homeless. Years later, he reinvented himself as a radio host, using his past as proof that no setback lasts forever. And Willie Ames, once a teen idol, lost everything before rebuilding his life. From working on cruise ships to directing wholesome TV films, his story became one of quiet redemption. These 3 remind us that even when fame disappears, determination can still bring the spotlight back, this time on their own terms. The fall of legends. Marvin Gaye, Aaron Carter, and John Drew Barrymore. Marvin Gaye, the silky voice of Motown, delivered timeless hits like Let's Get It On and What's Going On. But behind the smooth songs were years of debt, depression, and addiction. By the 1980s, financial trouble and personal turmoil drove him into isolation. His life ended in tragedy in 1984, cutting short one of music's greatest voices. Aaron Carter was the teen idol of the late 90s, selling millions of albums before he was old enough to drive. But the pop dream faded. He struggled with mental health, addiction, and money problems, losing everything he built as a child star. His passing in 2022 at just 34 years old shocked fans who grew up with him, and John Drew Barrymore, born into one of Hollywood's most famous families, never escaped his family's shadow. His career was derailed by alcohol and erratic behavior, leaving him estranged from the industry. Yet in his final years, his daughter Drew stepped in to care for him, closing a heartbreaking Hollywood circle with compassion. Their stories reveal that fame doesn't protect you from pain, it often magnifies it. The dark side of fame. When success turns into a trap. Fame looks glamorous from the outside, The lights, the money, the applause, but for many stars, it becomes a golden cage. The constant pressure to stay perfect, to be profitable, and to always perform drains the very people the world celebrates. Hollywood builds its icons fast and tears them down even faster. The same cameras that once chased them for red carpets later follow them for mugshots or street photos. Behind every perfect smile is fear. Fear of fading away, of being replaced, of losing everything. The industry rarely forgives mistakes. One wrong choice, one failed project, or one scandal can erase decades of work. And when the world moves on, there's often no one left to help the fallen rebuild. This is the cost of chasing eternal fame, a life where applause replaces peace. And when the crowd stops clapping, silence can be the loudest sound of all. The price of the spotlight. Hollywood sells dreams, but behind the glamour, it hides the cost. The stories of Loni Willison, Wesley Snipes, Cory Haim, Margot Kidder, and so many others reveal that fame is not a guarantee of happiness. It's a high-stakes game where one wrong move can turn fortune into failure overnight. For every star who shines, there are dozens whose lights quietly fade, forgotten by the same fans who once adored them. But what these stories truly show is the power of resilience. Many of these fallen stars found strength in humility, rebuilt their lives, and learned to live beyond fame. Because in the end, it's not about the money, the awards, or the headlines. It's about surviving the fall and standing up again when no one's watching. So the next time you see a celebrity on your screen, remember, behind every red carpet smile, there's a story you may never know. Some of them lived the dream, and others paid the price for it. If you found their stories eye-opening, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and keep watching. Because in Hollywood, the rise is dazzling, but the fall is unforgettable.